Welcome to the Inside the Minds of the Six-Figure Bloggers Ask the Panel session. So in the beginning, we're going to be covering a few topics where I ask our awesome panel some questions, and then we'll be opening it up to Q&A. And I'm going to say right now, I'm Zac Johnson from ZacJohnson.com. I've been in the industry about 20 years now, and I'm going to give each of these guys a quick few seconds to introduce themselves as well, starting with Syed.
Hey guys, Syed Balkhi here. I'm the founder of WPBeginner.com. It's the largest WordPress resource site, and Opt-in Monster, which you see on a lot of websites when you go and a pop-up shows up asking you for your name and email.
I'm John Rampton. I have a site, johnrampton.com. I also have a site called do.com. We are a payments company.
And I'm John Chow. I'm the blogger at johnchow.com. I'm also the author of Blogging Secrets and Make Money Online, roadmap of a .com logo. Available at Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Airport Bookstore.
He's the salesman.
Because I put one there.
They did not carry that.
All right, so who here is actually from New York City? Okay, and from the people that aren't from New York City and everybody combined, who has ever heard of the Naked Cowboy? All right, so clearly most of you have heard of him, even if you're not from New York City, but does anyone have any idea how much the guy's actually worth? So I was just walking outside with my dad before the session started. I saw him, and I'm like, you know, this guy, we know what he's doing. He's walking around, taking pictures with people. He's probably not paying taxes on that money, but that's another thing. So he's got dollars coming in all day, but how much is he actually worth? So go online, look it up. Turns out he's worth $4 million. You think he's out there just making a few dollars per day. He's worth $4 million. So what I'm getting at is a lot of people are going to be at these conferences, and they're going to say they have a lot of money, but really you have no idea what the hell they're doing. So what I want to do now is ask each of the people on the panel how they're actually making money online. Syed, you want to start with that?
You want to go last with me, or she goes first?
Yeah, I'll go last.
Okay. So I have the blog WP Beginner. It teaches you how to use WordPress, everything and anything related to WordPress, and it's tutorials, 100% free. And there we have a model of just helping, and in exchange, every now and again, we'll add an affiliate link. So I would recommend, if you're looking to create a membership site, you get MemberPress, which is a WordPress plugin, and then I have a deal where every time somebody buys MemberPress from me, I get a percentage commission back. And that was like one of the earlier models. But after that, I've created a bunch of different software companies that are independent, and I use now my blog to promote my own software, and that generates quite a bit of money. I think the session should be not called six figures anymore, because it should be called eight-figure blogging.
My name is John Rampton. I own several different companies. I have obviously we're a payments company, so if you come sign up and start using us for payments, we make a percentage of every single transaction that you make. I also have a PR agency, and I do a lot of real estate.
I'm more of a pure affiliate. Most of the stuff I do is fully automated, and I have systems in place so I can live what I call the .com lifestyle. But basically, my income revenue falls into a few categories. The first one is the continuity program, like the membership sites, where I refer people to companies or services that offer a monthly bill, where I would get a percentage of the bill, such as my email list provider is Aweber, and they have an affiliate program where they give you 30% of the customer's bill for life. So over the last 10 years of blogging, I refer literally thousands of customers to Aweber, and I get 30% of their bill every single month for the last 10 plus years. So, and it starts off slow, but over time it builds. Like the first month the account is free, so I don't make anything. But next month the bill goes $19, and I make $5.40. And as the list gets bigger, my share gets bigger. Currently, the biggest the biggest account I've ever referred to Aweber, his list or her list, I don't know who it is. It's 400,000 names on it, and the monthly bill is $3,500. And so I get 30% of that every single month. And to this very day, I don't know who that person is. If you're out there, raise your hand. I'll buy you lunch or something.
Yeah, because he's making $12,000 from that one customer every year.
That's very close to my list. You owe me lunch.
So that's one way. The continuity. I love continuity stuff because you do it once and you get paid over and over again. And the other thing I also look at is like the typical affiliate marketer, what they do, basically they're looking for an offer and then they just promote it. Like they see an offer on ClickBank and I'll just promote this. But the problem with doing that kind of model is that first of all, if you're just gonna buy traffic and then send to the offer or sales page, what you're building the business for the advertiser. You're not building the business for yourself. Right? And in business, most businesses are made with repeat businesses. People come to you over and over again. But when you're doing typical affiliate marketing where you're sending traffic to, say, Amazon or whatever, and that person and relying on the front end income, your chances of actually making money is actually very, very slim. Because, take the example of Amazon. I'm gonna promote a product, send that person to Amazon, the person buys it at Amazon, so I make the commission on that first product. Now, Amazon will then turn around and say, they own the customer. So they're going to sell the customer additional related product, and when they're successful, and they will be successful because they have a really, really good upsell system. And when they're successful in selling additional product, you don't get anything. You get the original front end sale, but you don't get the back end sale, and the real money is in the back end sale. So you need to create a range of product that you can offer the customer so you can own the customer. And how I do it is, instead of sending traffic to the advertiser, Amazon, ClickBank, or whoever, I would send them to something that I control. In my case, it's an ebook. And I would get them to opt into my list. So I download my ebook, and then after I get on my list, then I would create an autoresponder, offer them series of products. Then I could send to Amazon now because I still have on my list. I could send, in addition to Amazon, here's some other products. So I offer them a range of product, and they will range from inexpensive to up to $100,000. Right? So by thinking lifetime value of customer, like if someone subscribes to my list and buys everything that I offer, I would make about $160,000 with that person. Now that's gonna be rare. Like that's gonna be rare. So far, only one person actually done that. but that's still, that's $160,000. Right? But some people will buy nothing. Some people just order web hosting. Some people might sign for Aweber. But the bottom line is, by having a series of products that you either control or you're an affiliate from, you can make more money for lifetime value customers. So each person coming to my list is worth about $10. And so that's
the bottom line, to summarize, you have a central brand. Don't just send traffic to offer. Send it to your blog or your email list.
Yeah.
Right,
basically build your business.
Yep.
Don't build someone else's business.
All right, I think that rounds up this session. It was a good intro. I'm glad you all attended. No, seriously, that was great, John, and you probably won't get any more questions because you just answered everything I had for you. But no, I've been doing this about 20 years now, and my story goes into the relation that I started with affiliate marketing. I built out my own websites. In 2007, I launched my brand at zacjohnson.com, where I wanted to share my story and my expertise. And now I don't really have to rely on promoting just affiliate offers and being that middleman, because now I have a brand where I can teach other people how to do the same things. I can launch my own products. I can still launch my own websites. So no matter what happens to the industry, I can fall back on my brand because I have that expertise. I have the connections in place. And that's kind of the business that I always wanted to run, where it was my own business. And while affiliate marketing is awesome and I can still send leads to a company and help them grow, at the end of the day, I need to grow my company and not just be relying on check after check. So that actually ties into my next question, which is, most of us actually did start with affiliate marketing, but how did we learn to escalate and increase our margins and become more responsible for our own businesses? You want to start again, Syed?
Sure. I still do quite a bit of affiliate offers on our site, because on WPBeginner, our model is primarily affiliates, and although now we've created software which makes up more money than our affiliates do, affiliates still make up a good chunk. The best way to grow, when you're starting out, even now when you go in the meat market and talk with so many different providers, you're going to give them all a try. And that's good, great, give them all a try. But you'll find that 5, 10, or 20 of the companies are tending to work better with your audience. And that's when you start thinking of, okay, how can I promote these 20 companies or these 30 products more and more, and create content that helps the user instead of saying, hey, just buy this. And that's when you want to go in and create your email list, have a funnel where in the autoresponder series you're helping the user get to whatever they're trying to do, whatever you're helping your audience. In our case, I'm helping them use WordPress. I'll say, here's how you can install WordPress. Here are the best plugins for a business site. Here's how you can speed up your website, and then speed up. I'll recommend Mac CDN, which is a CDN company, and then here's how you can keep your website secure so it doesn't get hacked. And their backups and firewalls tend to play, and then I can recommend products there. So when you start out, you're not thinking of a holistic picture, but as you go, you start thinking about the holistic journey of the customer and add products in, and then you don't promote all the other ones that didn't work. So that's how one of the ways to grow is to think holistically. But second, the more you start sending traffic and leads to a partner, then you have better grounds to renegotiate your terms. So whatever terms that are stated, on the initial offer can always be negotiated, if you're sending quality leads. And that's why a lot of people, value coming to Affiliate Summit, is because you get to meet with your, connection at that company face to face and talk it out, and they might have tips for you to grow. So if you're working with a specific, company that's here, make sure to schedule 15 minutes of your time with them, and even, before Affiliate Summit or after Affiliate Summit, whenever, and have them review your account, get feedback, see what else you could be doing to grow.
So I'm a little different than these guys up here. I just promote my own product. I don't promote anybody else's. I have several different companies, and I blog all the time. I write about my experiences, stuff like that. I really only promote my own stuff, or stuff that I'm passionate about. I really never put affiliate links in anything. I just put straight links. I really should put affiliate links, but I don't. However, I will say, Zac started in 2007, and I met Zac in 2008, and I was where you guys were in 2008, and I was literally making no money at all. And he has a really, really good guide on his website on how to get started in affiliate marketing. If you guys are just barely starting, I highly recommend you go to zacjohnson.com and download it. I read that. I'm sure I made him some money, which is great because that's how he makes money. But I've learned and adapted some of the things that he said and these other guys. I read John Chow's book, and I've become friends with Syed and known that. And it's literally over the past 5-6 years turned me from, not just 6, 7, but 8-figure income every single year, just by applying what they said for my own business.
But you started like 97.
Yeah.
It was a long time. It was a long time ago. But I read that, and it really it changed. So that helped.
Oh, people like to do business and buy from people they know, like, and trust. So a lot of what I do is brand building and trying to get my name out there. And I said, the best way to do, instead of you being a nameless face trying to promote some item, I always say that you should be the face of your business, and then you can recommend the item. Right? So when someone subscribes to my blog or subscribe to my list, basically I'm trying to do 3 things. The first thing I'm trying to do is build a relationship with them. So the part of the autoresponder, I build a relationship where I tell them, so connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, that kind of stuff. And second thing I would try to do is I try to establish me as the go-to expert, the guy who, this is what your problem is, and I can help you solve it because this has been my experience. And so I would show them my book and the TV shows I've been on, that kind of stuff. And the last thing is to recommend products and solutions to solve their problem. Right? So that's all I try to do, those 3 items. And I'll share with you 2 great little, I guess, outside of box marketing or brand building tip that's worked quite well. And one of the best way to increase or give you instant perception as a go-to expert is to write your own book. Because published author, that title, published author, will elevate you above pretty much anything else. Like, since writing my book, I've been able to get interviews, speaking gigs, the whole shebang. And the thing is, it's really not. It used to be difficult to publish a book, because you got to go for New York Publish and everything. But now with service like Amazon CreateSpace, you can, my last book, we went from conception to finished book in 30 days using Amazon CreateSpace. So createspace.com is one. And another trick I used to do that actually I kind of hinted on it, is that, so once you have the book, what I do is I just take it to like a Barnes & Noble, and I put it on the shelf, and I take a picture of me next to Anthony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki and put that on Instagram, And I leave the book there. And of course, and hopefully somebody will buy it. So somebody's going to go buy it, going to take it to the cashier. It has a full barcode ISBN number. So they're going to scan it, they're going to go, we don't have any. But then when they have, we must have Randall. I don't know how this is. So they're just going to sell to them anyway. I call this reverse shoplifting. So they're going to sell them the book, right? And what they're going to do, they're going to wonder, is that, so what they're going to do, they're going to, we must have Randall. So they're going to call me up, they're going to call my publisher, they're going to order some books. They're going to order some books. So it's going to stock on their shelf. And that actually works quite well. So I left one at the airport, a few couple at the airport there on the way here, and I would leave one, whenever. That works quite well. And the other thing I do is, and you do this, and this is the perfect time to do it, is during an election year. Basically, you run for office, but don't try to win. Because even when you during election time, when you're able to put up lawn signs on people's lawn sign, right? So, so you don't run for president, but you run for like the school board. And so you put up all these lawn signs, johnchow.com, across everybody's lawn, and they're thinking, they go there, they're thinking they're looking for a stuff about school, but they're seeing my blog. and now if
some people do anything for traffic.
this is branding. This is guerrilla marketing, all right? So and the cool thing is, you get to participate in the debate and stuff, and then because you're not trying to win, you can say anything outrageous stuff you want, right? Like free lunches for every kid and. Yeah, free lunch for every kid, and
we're building a wall in between these two school districts.
And if they ask you how it's going to be done, it goes, well, we're going to hire some really smart people who's going to learn how to do this. Right? I'm pretty sure Trump's doing this right now. Actually.
Make this school great again.
Yeah. So if you want to move away from affiliate marketing, that's what you do.
But it's part of branding. Increasing your brand, getting yourself to know as a go-to expert. I say, well, just makes affiliate marketing easier. Like instead of sending it to Amazon to buy this, instead of saying, when it's people buy from the people they like and trust. So when I recommend this to my readers, because they know me, they trust me, the conversion is much higher. Yeah. So stuff like writing a book just elevates your brand, makes it easier for you to convert stuff.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I've done quite the opposite. So all of my properties and softwares, they're their own brand. Nobody, his blog is johnchow.com, so he has to kind of have this kind of personality, which is polarizing. Some people like it, some people hate it. Whereas on our end, nothing is like Syed, or Mo or any other person's name. It's the brand, and we've built WPBeginner or Opt-in Monster or WP Forms or Enviro or whatever it is. We've built a corporate brand rather than that, and it allows us to scale it much bigger, because now if you go to johnchow.com and you see a blog post written by somebody else, you're like, oh, well, I guess John's gotten too big and that he's not writing on his blog anymore. So you kind of start losing that audience and trust there. So when you're doing it, think about what your goals are. Are you trying to build a lifestyle business? And if that's the case, then put your name out there and make sure your domain is whatever your name first and last.com. But if you're trying to build a larger resource where affiliate income tends to be much higher, whether it's like WordPress tutorials or insurance, blah blah, or build that brand up.
So can I ask a question of the audience, just because I like his answer? Who's trying to build a lifestyle business? Anybody? Who's trying to build like a business that's not lifestyle, separating out the two? Okay, cool.
All right, so keeping with that theme, who already has a blog? And who wants to start a blog? And who wants to make money online? All right, so at least half of you are paying attention. All right, so the concept of blogging is very long and dragged out. It's very cheap to get started. You put content on the internet, millions of people come to your site and you make a ton of money. Well, that's the complete opposite of what happens because there's over 1 billion active sites on the internet. So if you're just creating content, you're just going to fall into the mix. And if you want to make money, you need to have a solution, you need to solve a problem, and you need to have monetization in there as well. You also need to get right in front of the audience that's going to be converting on your website. So if you want to make money with a blog fast, you need to have all that in place. That means you have to create the content, have a call to action, and then promote it effectively. So I'm going to call on these guys now to give us some of the best tips for how we can actually make a blog and start making money with it within the first week or at least month. You want to get started with that, John?
All right. I guess the best case study would be the best way to show it. The typical case would be someone would start a blog and then try to figure out to monetize it afterward. And I had a person, what he did, he kind of did it the other way around. He decided to find the offer first and then work backward. Because most people start a blog and then they write content, they go, oh, then they can find some stuff to promote. So he worked it around. He decided that he looked at all, on the trade on the floor, saying, what do you got to offer, what you got to offer, and he said, and he concluded that he was going to promote web hosting. And the reason why I promote web hosting is because it's front loaded. Like you're selling something that's $5 a month or less, but you get a lump sum, and starting at $50, going up to about $150 depending on volume. So he figures that would be easier to sell because I sell some at $5 a month for web hosting. It's going to be like an impulse purchase, but I'll get like $100 instantly for making that sale. So now that he knew what's going to sell, he's now going to create a blog to promote that. So he worked backward, and so what he did was he created a blog. And anyway, if you search for web. He got it ranked. He got it ranked on Google for searching for start a blog. Yeah, and domain is called startbloggingonline.com. So startbloggingonline.com. And if you search for start blogging, how to start a blog, he shows up on page 1. Right? And Google is sending him about 2,000 visitors every day using those terms. And out of that, he's selling approximately 20 to 30 web hosting accounts every single day. And he's making $150 per account. Right? And he actually did that within 3 months. And by the way, the site is for sale, but then
because you're usually doing black hat when you rank that high in 3 months for that keyword.
Yeah.
All right. So this is John.
Yeah, I would just say, my experience is I've never started a site and a week later made money on it. You have to be really, really good at promotion. I actually feel it has nothing to do with setting up a website and the content. It has to do 100% with the promotion that early in the game. My experience is I started a blogging site. I blogged for 9 months. I blogged 3 times every single day, and I didn't make $1 for 9 months. And then I started learning from others on how to really make money, how to put the right offers out there, and then I started making money. But it doesn't happen overnight for me. I could never make money. I found that making money for me is building actually products that people want, which those take time, and then promoting those in the right way, and then having my customers really promote my product. That's the way I found that my brand and my company grows, is get one customer that's really, really passionate about me, and he'll spread it to 3 people, and those people will spread it to 2 people, then 3 people, 2 people, 3, 1, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden it becomes like this viral sensation years later. We started 13 months ago, and we're now over 42,000 customers, and we have done 0 paid promotion. It's all our customers doing the work. So I think it's truly, for a product, it's building an amazing product that people love and letting them do the work for you, because I've never been good at the other stuff.
Yeah.
What's your main product?
It's a payments company, due.com.
So whenever you start, it's a lot of hard work, as all the guys have said. And I'm an advocate, and when you try to reverse engineer and you're not good at that, any success you have will be short-lived. So the guy who started start blogging online. If you really do the math in your head, somebody who's doing, let's say, $100 per sale, 33 grand, 90 grand a month. If you were making 90 grand a month on autopilot, would you sell that business? No, that's a cash cow. If you get there in 3 months, you game the system, and you're about to cash out at hoping on a multiple and thinking that some sucker will buy it because it's gonna you lose ranking in 3 months because you don't get that high in Google in 3 months for that keyword. And I know it because I'm in that space, and we rank fairly high on a site that I started building 7 years ago, right? So reverse engineering something that you're not passionate about and not good at, any success you have will be short-lived. You want to start with something that you're passionate about or you are willing to learn about. I'll give you an example of a website that I started. It's called List 25, and we still have it now. It has 2 million YouTube subscribers, 400 million video views, and it gets millions upon millions of page views. And it's an entertainment site. It started in 2011, mainly because I was seeing so many of these lists come out, like 8 best rap stars or 8 best this, and they were garbage lists, right? Filled with like photos of like half-naked women, and I'm like, and these guys are mainly doing it for ad revenue. I wanted to actually learn from these lists. So I created, top 25. That's really challenging, by the way. If you ever try to list something in 25, most of the topics you won't be able to come up with. But made it educational. And I wanted to grow it in multiple sectors. That was my growth plan. Nobody else is doing videos. I'm going to make a video. And in the video, it was just a slideshow. So it was a PowerPoint of every single image and with somebody reading that article. That's all the video was. But at that time, nobody was doing anything on YouTube, so YouTube just catapulted. We joined different communities. So in order for you to grow your blog, one, you have to have content. You have to have good content. But like John said, Rampton, not Chow, like Rampton said, you have to have promotion. And promotion is very, very important. I'm a firm believer of building relationships because anybody can buy ads, and that's only, as far as your money will go. But when you're building a relationship, like people who are sitting next to you here, those are probably going to be the best relationship you're going to make, like your cohorts, not like an influencer. A lot of people are like, oh, let me go chase influencers. Influencer chasing isn't really going to get you much further because you don't have enough to offer to that influencer most of the times. Versus, networking with the same people who are all either where you are, maybe a little bit behind you or a little bit ahead of you. That's the group, and that's the cohort group that you grow with. But when I was starting out, I was trying to chase influencers, and that didn't work out. And then I started, just networking with people who were on the same level, attending events, networking, after parties, meetup groups. At that point, there was no meetup.com. Meetup.com wasn't as big, so it was kind of hard to find those groups. We had Yahoo chat rooms. We had Skype group chats, Google chats. We were just pinging everybody, hey, can you +1 this? Hey, can you like this? Hey, can you share this, retweet it? And we had retweet exchanges. And by the way, it still happens now. We just have a hashtag S4S, right? How many of you know about S4S hashtags? On Instagram, it's called shout out for shout out or share for share. And you shout out my stuff, I'll shout out your stuff, and that's how you grow. And in the earlier days, John would have a competition with one of his rivals, which are, by the way, their best friends, like Shoe Money. And they would portray to the audience that they're rivals, and they would get each other's audience to go, check out other stuff. Oh, Shoe did this. We're gonna beat Shoe. So now you're sharing audiences, and that's one of the better ways of growing it. And also just explore different platforms, because I would have never thought that we could have made a YouTube channel as big as we did if I hadn't tried. And our videos weren't like high quality or professional. Even now, it's not. It's just like slideshows after slideshows, and we've started putting faces in them now. But still, we do one slideshow because some of our users really like the older format. So try a new platform like YouTube or like Instagram or Facebook, and join Facebook groups. Those are really, really cool. You can make join different, like digital marketer have a group called DM Engage. There's Internet Marketing Super Friends. There's like tons and tons of, like the Pat Flynn has a group, like SPI group, that's really good. And or Brian Dean has a group, SEO That Works. Join these groups. Find the people who are really active. Then here's what's working really well for me is I've created a Slack channel. How many of you are familiar with Slack? It's like a chat software. So I created a Slack room, and I invited some of the people I really wanted to stay in touch with from those groups, because I can't keep up with these 18 plus groups that I'm in. I invited the really cool people and, hey, do you guys want to join this chat, which is kind of like text messaging? Cool. And now I have all those people in instant access, and we have like a channel in the Slack. It's called Promotion Help, and we can just like stick something in there, and all the people will just share it and kind of build your cohort and grow. And I mean, now with like multiple 7-figure businesses, I'm still doing it because this is the grassroots stuff nobody else will do. And there's a lot of hard work. There's no dream of I'm sitting on my pool side and typing away, which I do every now and again, but I'm still working my ass off every day.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. And unless you go to johnchow.com, you see him sitting on the beach and laughing at people that have real jobs. But outside of that, I have a 5-step formula for anybody that wants to write it down and follow it. Because this is the type of stuff Syed was talking about, where if you actually put in the time, work, and effort, you will see results. There's no reason why someone couldn't take $500 and implement what I'm about to tell you and have a $10,000 a year business just running in the process while you're working on it a few hours a week. So the first thing you need to do is actually find a niche and niche that down further. So for this example, I'm going to say basketball. I love playing basketball. It's not something I want to write about, but this is how you would take it. So a lot of people want to start a sports website. People go to ESPN.com, and guess what they do? They don't buy a single thing. They just want highlight scores. So you got to get into the mindset of the people that are going to come to your website. So you got to niche that down. Let's go from basketball to sports training and say maybe jump training, because a lot of people want to dunk higher. You have a never-ending supply of people every day that are starting to play basketball, getting taller, and they want to dunk. So how can you cater to this audience? Well, that's the next thing. You have to find an affiliate offer. And on clickbank.com, or you can even create your own product, you can find jump training programs that you will earn 65% commission on just for referring someone to it. So now you have the audience, now you have the product, now you need to create the website. You can easily create a guide on 10 exercises that'll help you increase your vertical jump 5 inches over the next 30 days. So you now have the content. Next, you should create an infographic, something amazing that'll be easy to share with your audience. Throw that onto your website. Now you get to the outreach part. You go out there and you contact every basketball-related website, every jump training website, every health-related website, and you say, hey, I just created this amazing infographic. I think it would be great for your audience. And if you post it or if you share it on social media, then I'm going to share that as well, and I'm going to send people back to your website. So you keep going through this process. It's going to take time. You're going to have to email a lot of people, but every time someone follows up, you're getting a new backlink to your website. And Google's going to eat that up because they're going to see all these relevant websites coming back to you. And soon enough, you're going to have an authority site. And because you are already niched down so much, going after jump training keywords, that's not immensely populated in Google where you have a lot of competition. So soon enough, you'll be ranking at the top of Google. People come to your website, read through your content, order the ClickBank guide, you get a commission, and it's running on autopilot. All you need to do is continually come out with that great content like the infographics, build those backlinks, and that's how you have a business that's going to make you money week after week, month after month.
Yep, and then eventually you decide, well, I want 100% of the pie. So then you'll create your own guide. I actually know one of the guys who sell the product on ClickBank. I met him in Guatemala while he was just vacationing. He was like, oh, I'm going to jump off of this deck into the lake and post it on my site. He makes 6 figures income from that one course on how to jump high. So this is, I don't know if you meant to use that as a real life example, but I know that guy, and it's legit.
Yeah, the industry for that is ridiculous. And if you think that there's not making money, there's people making over $100,000 a month teaching other people how to make homemade chicken coops.
Yep.
So no matter how stupid it is, the guy outside is right now posing for pictures, and he's making $4 million a year. So
yeah, same thing with honeybee farming. That's
I know a worm farmer.
Yeah,
and he makes $1 million a month.
It's crazy.
I saw his tax return. I made him prove it. He makes over $1 million a month on worms.
That's a lot of
teaching
worms.
people how to have the perfect worm for fishing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the industries, some of the sites that you can check out on the niche ones that are doing good, and now they've gotten into physical products. Survivallife.com, huge on the preppers.
Ryan Dice's site, right?
The Ryan Dice site.
Ryan Dice,
And then DIY Ready, it's another one catered towards the DIY audience. And then those are two that off the top of my head they're doing physical products. Makeuptutorials.com, and they're just focusing on writing good content and then sourcing products. So you can, if you find a niche, that's targeted and people are passionate about it, totally go with it. Honeybee farming and all those. Those are like, I know people who are making 6 figures in each single one of those.
Yeah, one thing I would say towards this is make sure that if you're going to go into some of these niches and stuff that you're passionate about it. Zach touched on it, but
Yep.
like I find so many people in these sessions. Like last year, I think it was Zach and I can't remember. One person came in and said, "I applied this and I was doing this for a year and I didn't make any money at it." And we're like, the guy wasn't passionate about it. He's like, "Yeah, I was doing it to make money." Like you're gonna fizzle out and stop doing it if you're not passionate about what you're doing. I believe every single one of us up here really enjoys what we're doing. I could literally do what I'm doing and make no money at it and still be happy. So, I mean, that's a true sign that you really love something and you'll stick with it for a long time. You need to be passionate about it and really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, because when you're passionate, you're willing to learn. You're willing to
Yeah.
get better at it, and that's what your audience wants from you. They think you're an expert, and you can show them the new stuff.
All right, I think that would be a good time to open up for any Q&A. Yeah, sure, right here.
Do you have a mic?
I'll just repeat the question.
Okay, we'll read the question.
What kind of support network do you guys have? Do you have employees? Do you work with contractors? You got like offshore companies? Or are you all one-man show?
Yeah, so the question was if we're one-man companies or if we're larger companies. We can kind of go down the line because it's pretty simple. I myself, one-man company, 20 years now. I can outsource to designers every once in a while, mainly through a lot of people I know I'll get recommendations because it would be terrible to just go out there and try and find someone without knowing. So I can easily reach out to any of these guys. And that's the importance of building relationships and coming to this conference because you just keep asking, you're going to get answers and new resources. And I know Syed's a great example of this because he actually has built products and huge websites where he manages over it and he has teams around him. So I think it's a perfect question.
So I started out with just me, and then in the beginning you can't afford to hire employees, so you can hire like virtual assistants in Philippines and different countries where it's relatively affordable. Don't expect like quality of work to be that high, but it's like you give them tasks that are taking your time that's not worth doing. When I started out, that's what I was doing. Now we have 37 full-time employees, and then we have like dozens of contractors that we still utilize. But that's because I have multiple content sites, and then I have multiple software businesses that are fairly large. And for our side of the company, we're still very small in terms of employees. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have two different companies. One of them has 42 employees and the other one has 14. But I started off as a one-man show, and my first year I was by myself, and then I had a partner, and then it grew from there.
Yeah, I'm kind of like with Zach because we're the two senior people here, and we don't have the energy to manage 30 plus employees. I have two writers and a design and the design firm that's my design. But I try to automate everything as much as possible. Like, .com lifestyles, time freedom, money freedom, location freedom. So whenever I'm looking at opportunities and stuff, or what kind of promotions, or looking at investing in a business, my first concern is like, what's my time commitment? And if I do have to invest any time, how long before I could remove myself from it? Because I'm at a stage in my life where it's more important for me to spend time with friends and family than it is to build an empire.
By the way, our company is 100% remote, so I do have all the three freedoms.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question. Yeah.
I was writing down the steps and I didn't quite get what the pitch is for the to get the backlink.
Okay, yeah, so this is just a recap of before my 5 steps on how to get the backlink. So websites are always in need of content for their audiences, and there's a process called guest blogging, and that's where you can reach out to other websites and say, I would like to create a valuable resource for your website. And most of the sites will already get approached with this, so they'll have an understanding of what you're saying. And the concept there is that you provide them with like a 500 or 1,000 word article that relates to their audience, provides value for them, and it's one less article that the site actually has to create. And in exchange for that, you're going to get a link or an author bio section at the bottom of that article, and that will link back to your website. And if you're providing an infographic, for example, you can give them maybe a 300-word short introduction for that infographic, a link back to your website, and then you can promote it on social media as well. Mm-hmm. And they'll want to do this because they'll be getting content from you and also social promotion as well. So a lot of these sites are going to get pitched with stuff like this all the time. I know John gets pitched all the time, and I get pitched. So if you're going to try and do this, make sure the quality is extremely high and that you're offering some form of promotion in the process, because
Yeah.
that's something a lot of people won't do.
And a lot of people don't follow up. So, I mean, we get dozens and dozens of pitches every day that we just turn down most of the time, but we tend to reply to people who are following up on that same pitch. So you might want to use a software like a Ninja Outreach and Pitchbox. So if you use one of those two, you'll be able to, kind of keep track of who you reached out to, have they responded to you, no, send them another email 3 days later, maybe with a different subject line to get attention. Because, we get tons and tons of emails.
All right, next question. Go over there.
Syed, real quick, the 25 list channel you're talking about, what's it called?
It's called List 25. Yeah, List 25.
I know we got a lot of questions, and we got 15 minutes left, so we're going to try and get through the rest quickly. Yeah, sure, in the back.
What is your opinion, collective opinions on e-content that eliminates the need for inventory? So, for example, our website, one of the things it's able to do is it has a list of vintage paper dolls that aren't around anymore from the 20s, and we have the original copies, so the copyrights have expired. So if you own the original, you can create e-copies of it. So do you think that's a viable income generator? I mean, just
Anyone
You want to repeat the question, and I'll answer it.
in general, not having the
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
You can
so the question was, do we have what's our collective opinion on e-content on specifically items where copyrights have expired, and you can buy those copyrights or register it and trademark it and then resell it? Is that correct?
just in general, having stuff that you can sell, but you don't have to worry about having
Inventory.
It's not physical. like
Sure.
it's just-
Yeah, you can totally do that. I don't have an example use case of a digital product or e-product, but I know one of the guys that in the prepper market did this with a gun company where the trademark had expired, and it was a really, really old company that made air rifles that Lewis and Clark used when they were going on. So what they did is they trademarked that because that trademark expired. That company had went bankrupt. So they re-trademarked that name, and they created a much more improved air rifle, and they sold it. Here's, buy this rifle that Lewis and Clark use, except it's 14 times faster or 14 times more powerful, and they made a killing on that offer. So yeah, if you're looking to be creative and you're in those niches and you were able to secure those trademarks, anything vintage, you add a word vintage, it sells. So.
What's the difference between an article or content and an infographic?
So the question is difference between content, article, infographic. They're all different types of content. The infographic in particular is actually, I like to refer to it as a visual graphic that makes boring text interesting, because they're those long form images that you see, and it like walks through the process of lots of different data points, but they're really short and they have actionable words and visualizations that make them easy to see. And the reason why companies and websites love to post this is because people love to share them on social media. So you can actually go to Google, type in any type of niche that you're currently in. Let's say we'll do the jump training again, for example, the 10 best exercises. You can find a site like maybe Men's Health Magazine or something. They actually list this out in a boring article that really provides no visual value. You can take this same data and source it within your infographic, and then actually show like pictures of people doing those different exercises and say 10 tips to jump higher in the next week. And because you created that infographic, you're providing value to your audience. A lot of people are going to want to share it, and it just means so much more than actually having to read text. And at the same time, you're going to want to add text to that infographic when you add it to your site, because that'll help it rank in the search results. So the more you can do to Google to make it easier for them to find your content and make it better, even adding a video to that, if it's just you talking over your infographic or doing a slideshow, the more content you can create and get it on different platforms, the better it's going to perform.
When I want to compete in a really hard area, I go create an infographic. Most of the time there's really, really good content out there, and I'll go take their content and re-put it in an infographic, and it helps me rank. Because Google, when you search for a term, will have images in there too as one of the top search results, and my image is there in places I could never get.
So basically taking really, really dense data. I know even the government departments are now starting to do it. So like your highway, different cities and states highway departments, instead of publishing these reports and no one reads, they will create really cool charts and with little text and images, and then they circulate it, and everybody starts appreciating that department. Two tools you can use: PictoChart.
PictoChart's awesome.
Pikto chart.com. PictoChart.com for creating infographics, and I know a lot of people use Canva as well to create Canva, Canva. VA. Yeah. Question back there?
John and Syed mentioned, it's 100% promotion, and so I just wanted to ask, you guys are four experts. If you were to do this all over again, what would be the best way, the combination of organic and paid for bootstrapper to promote your blog, which would lead people to your blog?
Sure. So the question is, me and Rampton said, majority of the work is promotion. So if we were to start all over again with like pretty much no money, no connections, what we would do?
For myself, I'd invest in new platforms that are coming out. For example, one fun one right now is Facebook video, and for $5 you can get hundreds of thousands of views on a video. That's one fun one that.
Remember, you have no money, dude.
Oh, I have no money. You said a little bit of paid promotion. $5 is no money, basically. Come on, you guys, skip lunch for the day. Or for the week for some of us who eat ramen. But that's what I would do. I would also really push on press very, very well. I've gotten enormous amounts through reaching out to journalists and stuff like that. Typically, I'll send 50 emails for one response.
For me, I'm big into relationships. I would start like volunteering. Everybody needs volunteers, especially like these larger events. So like, for example, social media marketing world. Every year I see tons of volunteers, and this blood, like your sweat equity kind of you're putting in. So you volunteer, and when you're volunteering for an event, one, you're getting a free ticket. Two, usually as a volunteer, you get to hang out with where the organizers are hanging out, and that's where a lot of speakers are. So you get really close contact with the speakers, you get to know them, and they remember you. Otherwise, you wouldn't really have access to the speaker party or whatnot. And then you can say, hey, do you mind if I email you? So that's one of the really cool ways to get in touch with influencers. I did that and still worked back then, and it works now because I've seen people doing that to me, but now I'm on the other side. And that works really, really well. Reaching out to press, in my opinion, when you're new, doesn't really work out unless you have a viral video, like the Dollar Shave Club sold for $1 billion. There's also a thing called Dollar Beard Club. Check out their videos. They're like freaking hilarious. Now you use one of those videos and you pitch it. Obviously that's gonna work out. You have to keep up with the news and see, oh, Dollar Shave Club just sold. Hey, we're a Dollar Beard Club, and check out our video, and somebody's gonna get a laugh out of it. Like, okay, cool. So those tend to work really well. If you are really wanting to get in touch with specific influencers, comment on their blog, offer to become moderator for their communities, and a lot of them would love to have a moderator because they get tons of comments, and then that puts you in closer touch. And that kind of networking is for building relationships. It's phenomenal. If you want to just growth hack the networking thing, use a tool like BuzzSumo and figure out who's sharing what, who's linking to what, and then just reverse engineer that. And you'll have short-term success, but I think when you build relationships, like it lasts like years upon years. I can always hit up Zach and like, hey, I know you have this article. Hey, do you mind adding my infographic in there? And it's a much more personal thing versus me sending him 50 cold emails and hoping for a reply.
Yeah, I would just add on that, interview as many people as you possibly can within your niche, and do it in as many platforms as possible. Because I launched my blog in 2007. And then a year and a half ago, I decided to get into a whole new area, which was podcasting. So I have a podcast called Rise of the Entrepreneur, and it's half an hour long, and I interviewed each of these guys on it. And every person I interview, they then share it with their whole audience, and they end up back on my website. So even if you go back to the jump training with the basketball idea, just go out there, interview every expert possible. It doesn't really matter how good or great they are, because at the end of the day, you're making content and information, and they're going to share it with their audiences, and then you can monetize it because you're becoming the source of information for everything else. One more question?
That site you just mentioned,
Which one?
to see who's sharing.
Social.
BuzzSumo, BuzzSumo, BuzzSumo.
Great.
One of
site.
my most favorite tools. I use them about
Yeah,
every day.
same.
Yeah, question back there. Sorry, the light blinds us.
I'm interested in finding out what the private blog network is and the value of having one.
So the question is a private blog network, what's the value of it and having one?
It depends how you want to build backlinks to your website. Basically, private blog networks are a way to build a lot of different sites that are getting a lot of links to them, and in the eyes of Google, they're not really accepted so much. So if Google does take action against those websites and your links on it, it could come back to your website and get it penalized. So without getting into the dark side and really detailed on it, is an estimate on whether you want to risk those type of tactics with your websites or not.
If you're building something long-term, I would not do it.
Yeah.
Short-term, it can do really well.
Yeah, I would say, not that it could, it will. It's
Yeah,
just
it
a
will.
matter of time.
Yeah,
It-
it's a
it
matter
will.
of time
Yeah.
before it.
Whether it's 3 months or 6 months, I would stay away from it. We used to do that like back in 2005, and it worked well because Google wasn't smart enough back then. This is 2016. Back there.
I wanted to build on the question about infographics.
Uh-huh.
We had a really successful infographic among all of our proprietary blogging, and that one in particular, that one was really great. Is there something I can do with that to build off that success?
Okay, so the question is I have an infographic, it's very, very successful. Is there something I can do to build off that success?
I would just say it really depends what the first one was really well off of. So let's say, just going back to the same example of jump training, you could be doing one right now, top 10 dunks from players that are in the basketball Olympic team. So you can look at local trends or worldwide trends and then just keep repurposing your content, send out a new press release, and then reach out to new agencies that would be relevant in that new twist to it. And you can also take that infographic and turn it into a video, have someone talk about it, or just make a slideshow type. So there's lots of different ways to get it out there again so that more people are seeing it on different platforms. But again, it goes back to what the content is that you're trying to target.
Yeah. The best, I don't know how it did well, but if it did well from outreach, I would, milk that outreach list and create another one and another one and another one. That's the most valuable part of an infographic is when it does well, you know how it did well. If people are coming back to that infographic somehow. Are they coming from a specific website? Make relationship with that. Look in your analytics. But yeah.
Yeah, go after that. I would look at the backlink portfolio, who's all linking to you, maybe create an updated version of that. I'd also take that page and update maybe a few links on that page because the domain authority on that page is going to increase based on the amount of links coming to it. So I would then link to other pages that are very important on your website and build those pages up. And then I'd go to those exact same people that link to you, create another one in similar or an updated version, 6 months, a year later for sure, but other versions, and go to those same people and be like, hey, I have something else that you really, really liked that would be very valuable to you. But you have all those backlinks.
Yep.
Should help.
Now, you could even reverse engineer that and go out into Google and find the top infographics out there, and then use sites like Ahrefs or monitorbacklinks.com and see who is actually linking to those. And then you can contact all those sites because they already linked to infographics in the past that they'd probably link to you again. Another question?
I think we have time for one question, correct?
One or two, that's about it.
One or two.
Yep.
So the question is, how do you market size specific categories? So jumping training is obviously very specific, but if I wanted to see how big athletic training category is, are there any tools you guys suggest we should look at?
So the question are there any tools we look at for market size? I use Google Keyword Planner. That'll tell me exactly how many searches are on there. There's a couple other,
I use BuzzSumo. They have
Yeah,
a
BuzzSumo's
tool called
great.
Facebook Analyzer inside it, and I'll just type in a keyword and see how many people are talking about it in Facebook. What are the most popular videos that are ranking there? What are the most popular questions that are being asked on Facebook? And I'll plan my whole strategy around those specific things that have done well because I can see the historical data. So yeah.
Yeah, if you're using Facebook ads advertising platform, you can actually type in any demographics targeting, and it'll give you an idea of how many people you can target through that system.
Yeah. There was another question right behind you.
Right. This will probably be the last one, though.
So it'll be the last question.
Yeah.
There you go.
make it amazing.
So for building your email list, do you find that podcasting or just the straight blog has been the most effective for you now?
So the question was, in building our email list, is podcasting or blogging better?
Yeah, I would say the blog is definitely the way to go because the podcasting, it's a whole different audience and it's a great way to pull people to your website. But when they're listening to your podcast, they don't have a form in front of them to sign up with their email. But one tactic you can use is to actually give them a cell phone number that they can text while they're listening because most people are listening through a mobile device or they always have it on them. And that will actually send them an email to their phone that they can confirm their email address and get them onto your list.
I would almost always say blog, anything text form is better for building your email list because you will get traffic to your older articles. On podcasts, it's kind of, if you have like you're in a 1,000th episode, rarely would somebody go back and watch your 120th episode. That's very rare. Versus on blog content, you're creating unique content. I run Opt-in Monster, so we do about 7 billion impressions of our sign-up forms across all the different websites. So I would say the more touch points you have with a user, the better your chances of getting that email subscriber. So don't just say, oh, add a sidebar form and call it a day. Add something that slides in, add a floating bar, add an exit pop-up or a full screen, whatever. Like add multiple touch points. All right? I think that's
Yeah, it looks
Okay.
like that's going to bring us to a close.
Yeah, with that, bring to a close. And like I said, please do fill out that form because they are giving away 5 passes every day to one.
Yep.
To
Make
the
sure
winner.
10's only, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.